The last topic we'll review today is simplifying fractions with complex denominators. If we have complex denominators, the special form of 1 that we need to multiply by to make the radicals go away is called the conjugate. And a conjugate is formed by changing the sign between two terms in a binomial. So if I have 2 plus rad 3, the conjugate would simply be 2 minus rad 3. If I have negative 4 plus rad 27, the conjugate would be negative 4 minus rad 27. And with 1 minus rad 6, the conjugate would be 1 plus rad 6. So applying this to fractions with complex denominators, you need to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So in number 16, we would multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2 plus rad 3. In the numerator, we'll need to distribute, and in the denominator, we'll need to double distribute, or FOIL. So as we do all of that, 2 times 2 in the numerator is 4. 2 times rad 3 is plus 2 rad 3. In the denominator, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times rad 3 is plus 2 rad 3. Negative rad 3 times 2 is minus 2 rad 3, and negative rad 3 times rad 3 becomes simply minus 3. We'll combine like terms in the numerator and combine like terms in the denominator. So we'll have 4 plus 2 rad 3 in the numerator. In the denominator, we have 4 minus 3, which is simply 1. And 2 rad 3 minus 2 rad 3 makes the rads disappear, which was our goal. And if we simplify further, we can just say this would simplify to 4 plus 2 rad 3. In example 17, the conjugate of the denominator would be rad 6 plus 3. So we'll multiply the numerator and the denominator both by rad 6 plus 3. And this time we'll need to FOIL, or double distribute, in both the numerator and in the denominator. So rad 2 times rad 6 is equal to rad 12, and rad 2 times 3 is plus 3 rad 2. 7 times rad 6 is plus 7 rad 6, and 7 times 3 is plus 21. In the denominator, when we double distribute or FOIL, we'll have rad 6 times rad 6, which is simply 6. Rad 6 times 3, which is plus 3 rad 6. Negative 3 times rad 6, which is negative 3 rad 6. And negative 3 times 3, which is negative 9. When we start to simplify and combine like terms, we notice that rad 12 has perfect square factors in it, so it simplifies to rad 4 times rad 3 plus 3 rad 2 plus 7 rad 6 plus 21. And in the denominator, the terms with radicals disappear, and 6 minus 9 becomes simply negative 3. In the numerator, rad 4 rad 3 becomes 2 rad 3. The rest of the numerator becomes plus 3 rad 2 plus 7 rad 6 plus 21. Because no like terms, no like radicals, all over negative 3. And that's as simplified as number 17 can get. In number 18, we have two choices. Because I notice that rad 8 has perfect square factors in it, I can simplify first and then divide, or I can simply start from here and multiply by the conjugate, both the numerator and the denominator, and then simplify. On the notes key, I multiplied both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate first, so here I'm going to simplify first. So in the numerator, I'll end up with 4 plus 2 times rad 4 times rad 2. In the denominator, I'll have 6 times rad 4 times rad 2 minus 2 times rad 2. So the numerator will simplify to 4 plus 2 times 2 rad 2, and the denominator will simplify to 6 times 2 rad 2 minus 2 rad 2. So the numerator becomes 4 plus 4 rad 2, and the denominator becomes 12 rad 2 minus 2 rad 2. We can simplify the denominator further, so we'll keep the numerator as 4 plus 4 rad 2, and the denominator will become 10 rad 2. Each term is divisible by 2, so I can simplify this even further before I get ready to go. So if I take a 2 out of every single term, divide 4 by 2 leaves me with 2, divide 4 by 2 leaves me with 2, and divide 10 by 2 leaves me with 5. So before I have to do anything with this problem, I can simplify it all the way down to 2 plus 2 rad 2 over 5 rad 2. And now the only thing I need to do to simplify further is multiply both the numerator and the denominator by rad 2. In the numerator, I'll need to distribute, and in the denominator, I simply need to multiply. So 2 times rad 2 is 2 rad 2, and 2 times rad 2 times rad 2 is simply 2 times 2. And then the denominator, 5 times rad 2 times rad 2 is 5 times 2. Simplifying that, we'll get 2 rad 2 plus 4 over 10. And one more time we can simplify because each of the three terms is divisible by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, into 4 2 times, and into 10 5 times. So ultimately this will simplify down to rad 2 plus 2 over 5. And if you check that against the notes key, you'll see that the answers are exactly the same. Just simplifying first made the numbers much smaller and easier to work with.